in them in
I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no-go. Señoritas going loco. Make it bounce like a pogo. All my haters see rojo. They big mad cause they coming up short like Frodo. Activate the beast mode. I keep it hot, give your brain a heat stroke. You ain't a big shot, you some basic B-roll. The world is mine like my name's Pacino. Hey, it's Nico, I guess I'm back. Catch me in the fast lane on the right track. And my shorty is a 10 like a dime bag. Got me feeling like a milli, check the price tag. Got the party jumping like crisscross. Got the gold chain.
their strategy, but they kind of fell out, and I'd like to see that just continue today.
Look, they're a very good macro-oriented team. That's how they won PMWC last year, right? In Saudi Arabia, it was really sick gameplay from them, but very passive. And we saw a glimmer of aggression in the group stage. And since then, well, Yangon has been really scared of taking fights, just like KRX. So Yangon, they can do it, but it's just not there just yet.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do it.
Hello.
What up, Dukes?
I made it. Oh, gosh.
You made it just in time, baby, for Sony's story of the day, because it is top 6, Dukes, or where are they going to be going?
Home.
That's right. These squads will end up going home if they don't end up in the top 6. By the way, just a quick little recap, too, from the overall for some of these squads. 3rd place to 15th place are only separated by just 14 points. So for some of these squads, they need to make sure that they start off hot, because you could end up just jumping up from the bottom of the leaderboard all the way up. But we do have to talk about Tiamba, because Tiamba's performance was absolutely insane, Neptura.
It was. We love to see domination from any sort of team, and this time it was Tiamba. Here you are going to see the head-to-head, just going over 4 Thrives' win in their group stage over both days versus Tiamba just yesterday, and those stats are looking pretty darn similar. I mean, the elims are exactly 44 each, so you're looking at very, very equal gameplay. They do have different ways of going about it, though, and so in some ways, as much as I'm a 4 Thrives fan, I do feel like Tiamba has the edge over this one, because they are patient. Tiamba, very, very patient, very quiet. You don't hear anything from them, but they go from 0 to 100. We saw that win in Erangel, where they just came out swinging, whereas 4 Thrives, they rely on momentum so much more than Tiamba do that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them.
I mean, for the entirety of this tournament, I feel like even if a team is doing well, sometimes I've been critical, like, oh, they're very aggressive, but maybe lacking on the rotation side of things, or they're very good macro-wise, but they're not very aggressive, maybe too passive at times. No, especially on those 2 wins, they drop on the opposite side of the map, go and find their way into the play zone, and they just start obliterating people. QZZ putting up numbers, but I know you in particular, Hot Jukes, you were casting that melee 1v4. He was showing up massively on that opening day.
Oh, it was about time, man. And, you know, I was talking to James a little earlier about, like, just look at their faces when they got that win. You know, they're high-fiving just a little too hard, because I saw QZZ kind of was like in his hand, like, what just happened? But that's what it's all about right here. Milu has been crushing it in the day 1 of the survival stage. He had 18 eliminations, 3,400 damage.
Hot damn.
That is insane. And then you got QZZ on the other hand, 15 eliminations, but 4,000 damage. So he's putting down those shots range. I like what you said, Neptura, right, about the difference between 4 Thrives and them. You know, there is a difference between Group A versus survival stage, but it's about time, Tiamba. Let's go. They should be a lock for the finals.
It's about time for some of the other squads too. We're going to be looking at AGL and ULF, because these squads are currently middle of the pack max. And as we were talking about just now, there isn't really that much of a gap point difference unless you take into consideration first place, which all you need to do is just be in top 6. But for these squads, they also need to make sure they start being proactive and aggressive.
Look, I know I usually shouldn't be making predictions, but if I had to predict 2 teams I genuinely believe can escape those bottom ranks and make it last second in the top 6, it would be All Gamers and ULF. They've shown absolute promise in their past tournaments, especially looking at All Gamers. PMMI had a big step up, and ULF, man, PMGC last year and especially PMGO Season 1 of this year, they were looking very impressive. But ULF, what annoys me, you can even see in the replays here, they don't have strong positions. They keep getting these central positions. They're sometimes even favored by the circle, but they don't have these strong holds on those positions whatsoever. They get surrounded, lose that foothold, and then just get completely swept under the rug. I feel like Ulf is a team that has some of the best fragging power in the world, and they're just not making full use of it. And even with the likes of All Gamers, you look at their placement points, they have 12 placement points total. One chicken dinner over the course of 5 matches then, that means they got 2 placement points. That is abysmal if you compare it to their Chinese counterpart of Tiamba.
Yeah, and when it comes to AGAL, this isn't just huge for them, it's also huge for their entire organization as a whole, because, you know, we got the Esports World Cup going on right now, and they are really pushing their PUBG Mobile team to pop off. So the fact that they did, especially here towards the end, was so crucial for their squad, right? And if they can continue that here today, they should be a lot for top 6, but it's so dang close in the middle. It's literally anybody's game.
Super close. Honestly, super close. Even if some of these teams don't end up getting a chicken dinner, if they're able to manage a top 5, especially in Rondo with what we have seen from some of the other squads, where multiple squads are able to get 10 or more eliminations, that leaderboard is going to be shifting throughout today. And before we actually keep on talking about some of these teams, I know Lace back in the studio just feeling cool, calm, and collected. They want to talk about some other teams.
Yes, thank you so much, Seven, and welcome to the Cozy Corner, where we're about to spill the tea for you, joined by Kalaris and Jackie. Now, Kalaris, you had a nice little conversation with Yangon Galacticos. Spill the tea for us.
I'm concerned for them, Lace, honestly, because coming into today here, last day of survival stage, they are the defending champions. However, when talking to Smile about how things maybe go from last year compared to this one, they want to try and mix in some kind of aggression in order to be able to keep up with this lobby. I don't think it's kind of mixed in just yet at all, and I think they're going to have a very hard time mixing it in when they won the previous year off some passive play. So it's going to be difficult, I think, for a return championship performance.
I mean, I have to agree. And, you know, a lot of the teams that we sort of put in that passive play style have been kind of gifted zones, and I haven't seen really YG get that kind of zone gifted opportunity. So I must agree with you there. Oh, the tea has been spilled. Now, Jackie, we have E-Arena. They were heavy hitters in our group stages. They've kind of gone like that middle ground now.
Bit up here, yeah.
Spill the tea.
All right, yeah, I've already poured mine out when James was doing his bit, unfortunately. So it's all over the floor. So mind your step, guys, especially if you're in the arena here in Paris. Yeah, I think you're spot on, Lace, right? It's one of those where they are a good team, and obviously this was the Rondo game where it really opened our eyes to this event. We're thinking, oh my God, no one could even really contest them. I think all of the eliminations they got, if I'm not mistaken, none of them were respawns as well.
Basically,
right? So it was pretty much a clean run of just pure dominance. They weren't contested. That's the difference. The longer the tournament's gone on, I feel like teams are just clapping back against them, James.
When you kind of have these incredible high highs, again, to break record in terms of all of PUBG Mobile history, to then have the kind of wishy-washy performances that they've had so far. It's funny because when I spoke to them right after this, they said, lucky. And I was like, no, not lucky at all, not lucky at all. But now that I'm looking at it, I think to myself, after all the other games, I'm like, okay, maybe there is some truth to that. And I don't want that to be the case, because the arena has been able to show this incredible kind of performance.
I agree. And after like an interview that they had yesterday, and they were saying like, you know, we're not really getting that kind of that gateway to be able to take it. And I kind of compared it to Furia. Furia were aggressive, and they're making those sorts of plays, and they're getting those points. If we can just see E-Arena return to the aggressiveness, because the only other team really doing that, I believe, is Furia, where they're actually hunting down their plays. I think if E-Arena can adapt to that, they'll be the second kind of team doing that aggressiveness.
The main concern is that yes, right now they're currently in that top 5, right? However, the mid pack is so close and all the way down to 15th place, basically, Jackie, that anybody from those positions could quite easily jump up with just one game alone and knock them out of that top 5 instantly.
And I think that is why it's so tumultuous right now, because obviously we've seen it's not that consistent from them, right? So how do you fix that in the space of one day? 6 games left to go. Fear starts to kick in when other teams are rising their skill level as well. It feels like everyone's getting a bit better the longer the competition's gone on, especially in the survival stage, with our top squads out of the running. Yeah, it's just a bit hard out there, Lace. You can cut the tension with a knife.
And we can cut the tension with our teas. Guys, great job. That's been the tea from the Cozy Corner. We're going to throw it over to Glitter with the CC update.
As we head into the last day for survival stage, it's time for another CC storyline check-in, because we're focusing on 2 teams today. We've got GK Esports, who are in the top 6 right now, and if we were to do some quick math, hypothetically, if they could win the entire event, they would jump from 17th to 6th. So 6th place is important.
Looking at their players,
Because of that, the
If you end up using social media,
To the electric, and so it's Al Ula Club Esports. Your defending champions of PMWC, Yangon Galacticos. Dopeness. Go team! Ulf Esports! AGL! Team RRQ! Wolves Esports! Nongshim Red Force! E-Arena! GK Esports! Alpha 7! Furia! And finally, Tianba! Every decision, every clutch can change your team's fate. You've got just 6 games left to prove you deserve a spot among the best in the world. The finals are on the horizon, but who has what it takes to claim the 6 places that remain? It's time to lock in and find out. "16 teams live to fight another day, but now there are no safety nets, there are no second chances."
Today is survival stage, so the points are reset, and basically, Barney, anything can happen.
With a big chicken dinner and a side dominance in the lobby, it's not going to be so easy.
Today, you won't survive by hiding. Fight smarter, adapt faster, and deliver when the pressure is at its peak.
Welcome to the survival stage of the PMWC at EWC 2026 in Paris.
Tiamba's back-to-back, 3 players versus 2. Joker off in the distance, but there's one in the smoke, dealt with immediately. QZ relies on his teammates. He turns for a moment, but he knows they've got his back, and in a 1 versus 3, can he make it work? Mormon now bleeding out to the zone. E-Arena will fall in the face of Tiamba for a back-to-back chicken dinner. This is brilliant.
There's really not much more for them to do here. Hoxie wants to try and hold his nerve in the face of Alpha 7, but they haven't lost a player yet, and they're not about to start now. Carrillo able to find the final shot, and there's a burn down on the last player for the South Korean side.
I think that's by far the cleanest take we've seen of a compound from Alpha 7 today.
Them down, and RRQ are looking to do it here. Pushing up close and personal. Milu with the nade, turning the tables, and he's doing this all by himself. What? It's the squad wipe 1v4 from Milu.
A desperate last-moment dash coming in now for our teams with 6 more matches to play. We are going to be heading straight into Rondo to kick things off. It is all to play for. More 1v4s? I hope so.
I hope so too, man. I mean, the 1v4s yesterday were pretty mad. Milu made that one look incredibly easy. Overall, just very, very excited to jump into the final day of Survival. Before we head over towards those finals, let's find out who our top 6 will be, which 10 teams will be sending home, because this is the most brutal stage thus far. Tiamba right now on an average damage count of 1,758 damage per game, but it's the average survival time, which is just disgusting, at a whopping 27 minutes and 38 seconds. When roughly most games end at the 30-minute mark, we are making it pretty much right to the end every single time. Slightly different story here for E-Arena, John, making it fairly far in, but we're lacking on those elims. It has been less aggression coming through from E-Arena.
Yeah, and I mean, those 2 minutes are pretty important as well.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the match,
always,
those 2 minutes equate to maybe like 5 placement points, essentially, when you're getting down to the wire. Every single team will know the importance of just going those few minutes further, deeper into the game. Alpha 7, they definitely want to try and get up towards the top 6, break into it solidly. Well, they are there currently, but, you know, keep that momentum going to be able to sow the seeds of victory.
Yeah, they were able to penetrate into the top 6 yesterday, which is fantastic for them, but it came at a cost, right? There was a lot less aggression coming through from them. They were relying on lucky games, and I think for them, I'm hoping that yesterday was a bit of a wake-up call. I hope they got back and they weren't happy with that top 6. That's what I'm hoping for right now for Alpha 7. I'm hoping they go back to their old antics, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more speed, velocity in these matches. That's what makes them them. And I truly believe if they continue playing like this and they do make it through to the finals, it is going to be a bit of a wash for them. This team has a lot more to give, but this year it's just not been it. Anyway, let's drop in with some of our other teams. Wolves right now, it's just not working. It really is not working for them at the moment at all. Again, that cohesion talked about yesterday, not quite there. Feels like some of the rotates towards the end game feel a little sloppy. But honestly, I do think that they have some strong players on side. I mean, Elementrix really impressed me yesterday overall. I still think that this guy is one of the strongest players from that team, and is a really strong contender here at PMWC, at EWC. But the individualistic nature of teams just does not work anymore. Everyone needs to step up. That's the thing of the past.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's something we've been saying for the last probably few years now at this point, right? You do need to have all cylinders firing to make sure your engine's pushing as hard as it can. And it's potentially something for a couple of our other teams to be considering. We talk about star players quite a lot, and I feel like Ulf and Nongshim both have their star player on side, and Eren and Hyunbin respectively. They do need to have the rest of the team with them. We have seen that from both of those two rosters, though. I'm hoping for a lot more. I like the brains on Nongshim, and I feel like Ulf can step forward, but it's the top 6 as the target as we break into the day with our first match. It is brutal as always. Rondo ready to roll.
Rondo is where you can gain the points. It's where you can get those eliminations. It's where you can set yourself up with a 39-point game and still fail to qualify for the finals. But right now, this could be the difference between you and top 6 and staying there. For some teams like Nongshim Red Force, they could grab themselves a massive game from the top 6. They're currently in 6th place, could rocket themselves up towards the top of the leaderboard. Tiamba, however, I think their momentum is legendary coming in from day one. I don't think they're going to be stopping anytime soon. They're feeling good about themselves. Milu was practically beaming the entirety of the day yesterday. I think that's going to be the case here. They're going to have a fun time with this one. Team's got to be scared.
I mean, if they can break up towards 90, maybe even towards 100, very reasonable for them to be able to do that today. They are going to be locking down one of the spots, and the question will be who the other 5 teams will be going with them. I mean, already as it stands, it kind of already is the question. And we'll see if they're going to get stuck in nice and quickly here, because Yulin is very close to this plane path flank. Neox Factory a little bit further afield, but could still be a target if teams don't want to get stuck in right to the thick of it.
Yeah, Yulin definitely in the position that most teams will be dropping towards here. Neox is a bit of a meander, right? It's a bit of a walk to get over there, so Yulin's going to be very hot at the moment. doesn't really support as many teams. So you are going to see things start to pop off very soon. I almost kind of want to come off the map feed right now and just go straight to Yulin, because it's going to be absolutely hectic in that location going forward. We can always take a look at the circuit later. I think right now we want to see what happens there. Who's going to profit the most in that location? We're heading down towards Nanqing. Come on, I beg. Come on, guys. Let's get on this. Let's get towards Yulin. People are already going down. All right, Nongshim Red Force, Tizzy, first of all here. But it's Tiamba opening up over towards Wolves already, and Alpha 7 looking to profit.
Furia going at it with the knife there. Taken that strike over towards Nongshim Red Force. I think the majority of Nongshim Red Force have gone down. They're going to look for those recalls on the outside. Wolves going low. Furia similarly cut down to 1. We've already had 3 teams basically fully lose on this hot drop. It's looking like we might get another one with 721 GS going low, going down, and AL want to get stuck into Maple, a powerhouse on side. Already stepping up to the fight with Goat Team as Foopsman goes down on the off angle to a shot from, I think that may have been from Scarface. Oh no, Ketch.
I mean, Kedge as well as the rest of Alpha currently taking down 2 separate teams. This is why I wanted to get off that map feed straight away, because this is an incredibly dense hot drop over towards Yulin right now. So many teams on the outside. RRQ also looking inwards, but they are trash looting for the time being. Yangon Galacticos defending champions here, now looking to get a little bit more done. But it's AGAL who came off the back of a big win yesterday, final Miramar, now looking to set themselves up for success towards the end game. They've already got themselves 2 elims. They want more than this. Getting a big points buffer at the start of the day, where they had kind of a shaky start yesterday, is going to be a really big boom for them going forward.
Hopefully trying to levy that one, get that one on side. Scarface stepping out for Ulf, gets across, uncontested right there. Sportsman at the back line. They didn't see him cross over and he was caught unawares. A lovely layer down on the DP there. And pushes him back, leaves them a little bit worse for wear.
E-Arena just took down their outpost, honestly, for Ulf. So Solus actually out over towards that northern side. That leaves Ulf in a kind of an awkward situation now. It's do or die for them. They are all inside of Yulin. There is no one on the outside edge. Ulf could go down right now. They're starting to play a little bit more passive now. This is a good approach from them. They're going to play over towards the pagoda and figure out an exit. They can move out towards the east here, though, John. That's a possibility. It's in the direction of the circle, but you're going to have to give up eliminations for that. Are they willing?
And they also don't have vehicles here, Blank, right? They got stuck straight into the hot drop. They were expected to be able to regroup later on as Maple goes down. Thierry able to hop in through the window and get that flush. But yeah, for Ulf, it is pretty dire. Aaron has managed to find a vehicle there and does get on the road heading south. Might crash in towards Kike as they move up to potentially pinch this one through. So danger for Ulf on all fronts. I mean, you're absolutely right. That Arena flex out works really very well, and that's going to slow things in Yulin down.
But that feels like a bit of a mystery coming through from Ulf. Honestly, for E-Arena, it was clear before the tournament ever started. They tend to go for this big old trash loot drop over towards stadium side. They don't just stay in stadium. They like to have outside outposts. And for Ulf there, that's a little bit of a poor read, in my opinion. And Solus pays the price for it. And for a hot drop there, which could have been absolutely monumental for them, because Scarface was certainly feeling it, suddenly you're having to leave some of these eliminations on the table. Quizzout finds Aking from Tiamba. And E-Arena looks to send out over towards the northwest side. RRQ moving down towards the southeast, looking to poke their nose in over towards Yulin, but we're on board with Furia, another team that was doing fantastically well yesterday. Right now, Ayala, one of the top players, currently down. We're in ball with the coach corner. Honestly, the coaches, they look happy at the moment for Furia. We'll see for how long.
They're going to be holding on the inside. Arena, I was pointing at it for you there, but out they were jumping onto the Alpha 7 solo, who they've just taken down as well. So Alpha 7 now in in this Yulin hot drop in a crucial route out. They need to try and find it, or it could be all over for them. A very, very difficult spot for them to find. Arena been playing spoiler. A jump around the corner. Those were back in with Furia. Chief trying to find the shot, and he will be able to shut it down. Furia keep themselves going. The engine is roaring.
Once again, Igor's a great approach here from him. Keep things going, like you say. Quizzout on the exit. Geeke, Ragnarok is in front. Lepar takes a lot of damage. Ragnarok just gets fully melted, just crushed underneath the bonnet. We'll just get the reset on that one and go for the revive, but All right, I mean, that's how you do it if you squeeze out 7 eliminations. What a dangerous game right now for Alpha 7, yet they've come away with 7 eliminations. But hell, John, this is good for Alpha 7. This is what we want to see. I don't want to see you guys going center early on. I want to see you flexing that close quarters combat. And this is very, very promising. Very, very promising.
Arena have been an absolute nightmare to the solos on the north side. They've gone and sent a duo down to 1 recall tower. They took a solo out. They've sent it to another recall tower, another solo gone. That has changed the dynamic in Yulin so dramatically. It looks like they might have been trying to catch out a player from Alpha 7 again on that egress, but Grisel does manage to slip on through that net. And Arena now sending a duo in towards Yulin itself.
Massively playing spoiler here for E-Arena. I mean, it's a good play, right? The closest res beacons on that northern side where the approach is good outside of Yulin is around stadium area, and they maintain most of the control off the back of those drop spots. Pulling this out on day 2, interesting strategy as well for E-Arena, because they clear out suddenly a lot of space, and then they can wrap into Yulin, start taking down teams, and they might just be getting rid of full squads.
Trying to find the dregs, the remnants. Interesting that Grisel heads up to their original backup recall tower on this spot, instead of going a little bit further west or maybe even breaking further south. But Alpha 7 will be able to get back to full 4, and already 8 eliminations on the cards for them. Blank of nice early bolstering. Revo very much trapped inside of Yulin at the moment, but as a solo, he will be recallable.
A lot of teams, they needed to get themselves going. They need to get those wheels spinning, and you can spin at home yourself with the Lucky Spin here at 2026 for the PMWC. You can draw off the exclusive 2026 PMWC tournament set, which you'll be seeing all in game. Fantastic set overall, very, very cool stuff. But make sure you do get those spins in whilst they last.
They won't last forever. Make the most of them whilst they're here. Here's a little replay. Okay, necessary with a nade. Okay, just steps out for the spray down. Wolves have been piecing themselves back together here. They are in currently 4th place, and a lovely 2-piece coming through from Necessary on side. It's been pretty good for the squad. Next circle comes on through though, Blank, and it shifts up towards Danqing.
But Dopeness, they've pretty much been here the entire time. This feels like a very, very classic thing coming through from Dopeness. In the meantime, Ulf, like we said, they had to leave some of those points behind there. They were a little bit worried, not as courageous as, let's say, Alpha 7. So they moved down towards Tuling, or get the res off there. They've got all 4 players back up again. They got a lot of loot as well, I imagine, as they shifted over towards the eastern side, understanding that with the playing path, likely not going to be a huge amount of teams in that spot anyway. So a slight risk, but overall did work. E-Arena finding Saf G. AGAL piecing themselves back together, now rotating in from that eastern side. That is a weird and unfortunate rotate for them. Looked like they had to go very far to get the reset, which means they'll be likely playing edge later on. Revel finding Easy with Bad Boy and instantaneously getting the flush. 9 them so far. The team is bruised and bleeding, but they are still going.
And they've got all 3 of their players who were recalled up on that northwestern side, starting to make their way away from it with a little bit more loot, hopefully moving forwards with some sort of strength, but getting into the next zone may be tricky. Over towards Danqing, kind of only E-Arena sits on their side of the circle. Everybody else is just clumping straight towards that southwest side, and it's not looking super easy to try and navigate. RRQ wanting to navigate this compound, but it's not going so well. 721 GS with a little bit too tight of a hold on it.
Yeah, make sure I don't make that one happen. So interesting. I love being able to get the player cams with the phones in hand as well, just because we got to see E-Arena there and just the speed at which they're flicking between what were they doing in the current moment, what's going on with the current map situation, zooming in, out, seeing what res beacons are in play. It's a lot to take in on Rondo. Very, very difficult map to play, especially at this level where everyone is going to give you grief all over the map. They are not going to let you get that aggression going, not going to allow you to push in without any kind of clap back. RRQ does move over towards the northern side, gets that reset. We'll start to move down towards that south side. But you're right, we're over towards Danqing, Tuling. Moved out from Tenlong Gardens, have a little bit of a dip down towards the bottom here.
The south edge. And on the south side with 1 Elim, it's Tianba at the top of the table still. they've been a lot more reserved over the course of this match, not wanting to get stuck in. Well, actually, they were forced to be a little bit more reserved because they did go down in the hot drop earlier on.
Yeah.
So they are now playing, not necessarily on the back foot, but certainly not from a big win on this engagement, like Alpha 7, who have managed to transition away from their game. They're all the way up on that north side there. You can see the backstop for E-Arena, who spent a long time getting away from Stadium. But the circle sends to the north side of Danching, and all of those teams that committed South Blank, they're now going to have to reconsider.
Yeah, there's a lot of position to play on this north side. Actually, I think the most interesting spot at the moment is sort of that dead land, which has a fair few compounds that sit through it. You can kind of fight down. You can have, I would say, probably 2 teams there, and then you can play out towards the northern edge slightly, where the forest currently sits. Claus does find QZZ. Kind of an unfortunate timing on that one. Tiamba's going to look to try and just break out and through towards that northern edge. But oh my god, it is clustered right now in Danching. Lots of teams want to get a move on. Control that res beacon over towards the north side would be a big deal. But you've got Yangon Galacticos. They are flying in towards that. RRQ are looking for that position. As well as Alpha 7, who did get themselves a little bit of a lucky break. The fact that this circle went north. But I think that they've battled for this. And I don't think that I'm too unhappy that they get a little bit of luck here towards the middle of the game.
Don't think they're going to be able to get to that recall tower before Yangon Galacticos. Unfortunately, it is pretty closely fought though, and they might want to just set up for it. RRQ could third party, but the brunt of it will fall on Yangon Galacticos right now. And Yangon may be actually looking to send even further on and not get stuck into this fight at all. The recall tower being available for just under 4 minutes now, blank remaining. It is going to be a powerful asset on side if you can keep control of it.
It's a very big deal. Like I said, though, you can see here you've got Alpha 7 controlling the northern portion of these compounds, and then down towards the south side, you've got Yangon Galacticos. Outside of that, though, it's very open. It actually is very open, this area. Most teams would probably like to play over towards that northern edge, where there is the woods that you can play around. There's some ridge sides in play that you can kind of LOS off the back of. But oh my god, a lot of teams just hoping this ends up over towards Danching, because they have committed.
It is very, very packed in there. At least 5 teams in Danching right now. The Wolves making GK's game really, really difficult. I feel like GK have been punished at every single turn of this match. I think that if we got a count of who's been eliminated the most, it would be fairly populated by GK players in this game. They have come back time and time again. Pretty sturdy stuff. But the Wolves looking to try and guard them out on the northern flank. Alpha 7 in the meantime still just holding on.
GK, the undead in game, now looking to slowly march, shamble towards the center. Sink their teeth into it, see what they can get done here versus the Wolves, because, you know, all things considered, honestly, Wolves are having a decent game. I mean, 8 of them so far, depends how quickly they go out in the near future, though. They send a little bit further towards that north side, maybe try and isolate the western portion of the circle by LOSing off the back of this small mound. Teams are happy, though. Teams are very happy, in fact, that we are heading back down towards Danching. Goodness me, all that work to try and find a position there for it to only go north, you would be fairly upset. Egos, though, will crash in towards a building. Not a care in the world for the vehicle either. He just wants to get inside, get a position to play, and work off the back of this. They've got AGAL, though, in the vicinity.
Yeah, the inside negotiations from Danching are tense, but it's the south side that we've hopped on towards here with Goat Team and Alula that is going to have to move. It's going to have to get dynamic. Ulf could potentially bear the brunt of the pressure, could get third-partied. The west side as well with Nongshim and 721 GS have to move on in as well. I feel like that may be a little bit of an easier approach. In the meantime, GK continue to tear limbs away from themselves. They drag their form in towards Danching. And they lose Ragnarok. That's the price they pay. But with 3 players, it's still doable from the inside.
Easy Van Boy looking for that cheeky angle around the aircon unit. Poking the barrel through the window there. Ooh. Bit obvious, almost. Safji underneath. Ulf taking a little bit of punishment over towards Goat Team, but they have the inside edge, so it's quite surprising that Goat is taking the fight to them so well. Alula, R3B, will find a shot over towards Speaker here. Dopeness was here very early, but I feel like Dopeness, outside of some of the good games they've had, which have got a little bit lucky at times, they just don't have that firepower. The defensive capabilities.
Not quite there, not quite there, can't hold off the onslaught. Alola went for a wild crash, by the way, from the area near Goat Team on the south edge. They just went straight in and they've managed to land on their feet. And Goat Team similarly have pushed it towards Ulf, and it's not going well kind of for either team, but Ulf right now on their last player alive on the fight on the south side, and they are bleeding out. Something awful. Those recall towers are shut down now, Blank, as well, which means that you are not getting players back to their feet if you go down. And with Ulf just on Solus, Goat Team getting those reses on that angle, it looks like they may be able to stay alive as 4 after a crash onto Ulf.
For Solus, I just don't see him as the guy anymore to get that 1v. What is it now? Yeah, the Goat Team didn't lose a single player. Very, very interesting stuff. I'd love to see a replay of how all that went down, just because Goat Team versus Ulf, you'd expect that to be a much easier fight there for them, but they have had a tough approach into this game. A lot of it has been on the back foot so far. But now Goat gets to move on as a 4-man.
A massive boon to them on that south edge. The north side starting to get a little bit more tense as well, with Nongshim Red Force, Alpha 7, Yango Galacticos, RRQ all starting to try to figure out how they can step forwards. 721 GS trying to move around on that north side as well. The Wolves are closer to Danqing than the rest, but no safer. 721 instead decide to crash into the settlement. Rayhan down and will be flushed out, I imagine, fairly quickly. And they're trying to crash onto the GK position as well as Lufa.
It's really weird to me right now. You see RRQ, you see Yangon Galactus, you see Alpha 7, you see Nongshim Red Force on this north side where the circle now shifts towards. That becomes a very prevalent area of the map. There was not a lot going on. And I mean, I can understand it when you're about 20 seconds out from the next circle. You don't really want to get into a big engagement just so you can quickly move out. I believe that Alpha 7 was trying to hang on to this location on that northern side while still pressuring out Nongshim Red Force. However, this required a hard shift over towards the north. I am confused. I sort of want to see a little bit more firepower. You want to start clearing out this northern edge so you can just start peppering the entirety of the teams in Danqing if it does move away from it, which right now it absolutely is. There is so little movement happening on this northern side at the moment. No team wants to get involved with one another.
I mean, Alpha 7 and Yangon Galacticos have been here for quite a while, so they're feeling fairly entrenched. This is 721, who were able to crash in, but GK are starting to turn the tides of this game around. They have been through hell and back so far, and they are looking to bring back some mementos for the rest of the teams around them. Kevin does get knocked, but that looks to put themselves back up. 5 eliminations now for GK. They are holding on to the western point desperately.
Milu finds Alula Claws. Helico kind of whiffing one of those nades there. Alula will back off, try to get Claws back on his feet, but Samji is fully flushed out in the meantime. Goats are moving in. Get a good amount of damage done, but E-Arena's already sent out over towards that northwest. They get into an altercation with E-Arena. Where is the aggression? This is... Go, honestly, is doing exactly what I want to see. They should hear this engagement over towards the northern side. Would not be surprised if they try and push this one.
Well, that's the arena cleaned up, and now it's just Nongshim who stepped into the firing line of Goat. Alpha 7 looking to flex out as well, maybe able to find it, some emergency cover dished out by Hyunbin, and Alpha 7
okay
on up to the ridge.
Okay, this is good news. So we have Guizhao. Guizhao leading the charge. It's very confusing for me. But I'm glad he is. He gets something done. The airburst does no damage to him. He's going to try and move the vehicle out just slightly. Goat is another team trying to pincer over towards this one. But they're recalling him. They're pulling him back. Carrillo has managed to get himself knocked over towards that northwest side. They're looking for the save on this one. Quick smoke out the window. Guizhao doing a lot for the team right now.
Yeah, it was RRQ who managed to find a knock over towards Carrillo, and he will need a little bit of a pickup. If that hadn't happened, they could have put more pressure forwards, and I think that might have been the end of Nongshim Red Force. As we hop back in towards Danqing, you've got Alola now at loggerheads with 721, who were able to crash in successfully. Alola as well, similarly capable of getting in and amongst it. But everybody's holding their corner. Next circle, very likely to push a lot of this one out. And I feel like AGAL may have the better time of it. A nade over the road from R3B is able to connect. And that opens the door for Alula, or at least it gives them time to get the res. Some more damage, and now they have to hold off Furia on an off angle.
Fury going to try and move out here. Next circle comes through. We'll head over towards that eastern side. Yangon Galacticos, defending champions, right in the center of it all. Looking now to begin the tornado. Sweep through all the rest of the teams. R3B does go down for Alula. The 7-2-1 GS try and hold down. It's a good double. Back to back here, very low. Can he make the 1v3 happen here? No. Won't quite get it done. Didn't trust in that last shot. And Quick is quick to finish it. Understands the demon inside that building, and he needs exercising.
Goodness me. There was a moment there, it felt like maybe Malik was going to do something magnificent, but was put down. Alula losing 3 of their players. 11 eliminations with 4 alive. They would have had a great time, but now it's Quick against 3 from Furia. He's already managed to find Eagles, and now Ayala and Chief are bearing down upon him. There goes the flush. And he's still got a little bit more to say. The end of the story, not quite yet. Quick dashes out, and the pin pulled on the nade keeps Chief from spraying him down.
Yep, common misconception. Can't get out that window. It is barred off. We'll have to swing around the side here. Furia looking to pinch Quick. Give him the old do-si-do.
He is taking a turn.
Oh my God, he's taking off, dude.
And he's looking for more, layering down the lead, but it's just off target. The strafe brings him further away from it, and Quick goes down. In the meantime, Noxian Red Force on the western flank go down to GOAT. Their dynamism, their attitude in this game is looking nasty.
I mean, GOAT is chewing through squads. They are chewing through squads, and this is what you want to see from a team like this. They have so much control. Wolves is down towards their southeast, but it's a team on 3, not likely to get too much more done. Milu is knocked and flushed, leaving only Eagle left alive to put the claws in over towards Fury. Emergency cover flares, smokes, all been dropped out to try and extend this push, but it's not meant to be. They will go out in 9, so not a single placement point found, but a good amount of elims on the game regardless, so 8 total. Alpha 7 now. Look to try and pinch over towards the southeast side of them. Send some Panabris nades through.
They lost Grisao in the middle of all of that. I feel like at the moment the story of this game is GOAT team going God mode on this western flank, rotating in, crashing into Ulf, disengaging from Danching, taking the initiative to move around that western side. You highlighted it, you said it's what you wanted to see. Eagle wants to see red as he's spraying the shotgun shells up the staircase, but it's not going to work.
AGAL currently still as a 4-man. Said yesterday they were able to get themselves a nice little chicken dinner at the end of the day. We expect so much more from this squad. Coming off their performance throughout the year, PEL, PMI was not meant to be though. It's been a bit of a rocky start for them. XZZ now looking to pinpoint those shots, but right out into the open. No smokes available. It is free pickings. They had to go on a 2-2 split here, so at least 2 of them will survive in Liu as well as Flower. Alpha 7 is taking heavy casualties on this northern edge, but it's Yangon Galacticos got themselves in towards these buildings quickly. They were fast on their approach too. It was that early push that really solidified this position. They've been playing a 2-2 for a long, long time. RRQ just hasn't given them much grief whatsoever though. But I would genuinely be happy to see a GOAT win.
On that eastern side, RRQ being a little bit tentative. As you say, not putting too much pressure onto things. Yangon Galacticos with only 3 elims at the moment though, with 6 teams alive. Going down here would just not be a good enough performance for them, frankly, because they do need to jump up towards that 6th place to keep themselves in the running to defend their title here at the PMWC at EWC. And they are 2-2 split right now. GOAT team resetting, lining up their cannons, trying to find a broadside. The question is, where do they go? Or are they going to wait for other teams to move around this one? Try and pick up some of the drags, because they've already done a lot in terms of isolating teams, in terms of moving this circle and being a playmaker within it.
They've pretty much been the sole playmaker, in my opinion, in this match. Like, the way these teams are playing right now, it just feels like they're waiting for other teams to struggle against the circle. I mean, for instance, right here, Alpha 7, they have to move. RQ's not done much this game, but they're happy to punish as they have to head over towards the dip. AGAL now punish over towards Wolves, who sat in this location for a long time as well, not really done much off the back of it. They could have easily attempted to get in on the action as Goat went over towards Nongshim Red Force, but AGAL, some good nades over the top, will take out the remainder of Wolves. It's a weird endgame, John. A very, very weird endgame.
Yeah, so much commitment to the south side of Danqing so early on, but they are now looking for it to continue out in the open and knock over towards the Yangon Galacticos position on the south point. This 2-2 split will make it reasonable, but Alpha 7 going to get pushed over the hill, and with an opening, they might be able to find something. RRQ descend from that eastern side and take on AGAL. Head-to-head, 2 versus 4. They like those numbers, and they will be borne out in the result. Lepar goes down, but that's going to be pick-upable.
Maybe.
That's a real word.
Pick-upable, potentially. Down towards that south side. Put him in a vehicle, moving forward. Loot crate in play here, but as I told you before, it's very open. Emergency cover players are almost essential at this point in the game. Alpha 7 has to figure out something and figure it out right now. Yangon Galacticos on this 2-2 split, they should have been able to realize this by now. I don't know if they have any vehicles. They need to smoke train over towards one of these buildings. A 3v2, very doable here, and will close off the sightlines from the rest of the Yangon Galacticos squad.
A nade, a little opening, and Alpha 7 will descend. Maybe even Goat Team could crash on towards it. But they're content for now. As RRQ start to march forward, Alpha 7 with the cover flares, they can get a little bit closer to this now. Blank Revo is spotted though from across the way and will be immediately flushed. So Alpha 7 down to 2 very, very quickly. And how do you make this one work? Shots now being levied over towards Goat Team on the western side. But they can't move. It's a stalemate.
RRQ holding out Goat Team. Goat Team holding out RRQ, you're right. Alpha 7 trying to get some shots over towards Yangon Galacticos, but RRQ just have these broadsides, and not for a single second have they just let Alpha 7 move freely here. It has massively slowed them down. I think they were coming into this endgame with very few smokes available. Zone 9 now just hits, and we will be closing to center. Carrillo, last nade. Has to be a big one, but I think at this point in time, it is the final hurrah from Alpha 7. Yangon Galacticos, though, up to 6 eliminations. How do they want to play this one out? Go Team is just looking monstrous this match. They genuinely have looked better than everyone else.
A real wild crash out from RRQ as they try and mount up, get across the open ground and only leave 2 of themselves alive. But in a 2v2 against Yangon Galacticos, it's not all done and dusted. A hop out from Smile. What are you doing, man? Straight into the firing line, and that's the opener that RRQ were looking for. The blue zone pushes them further. They have to get out of the warehouse, but the blue zone's choking them.
Yangon Galacticos starting to have to leave here. Go Team will squeeze the pressure on. RQ moves out, JS9 in play, but it's Go once again. Killer Joe at distance. Yangon Galacticos down to 1 final player. What can Marnet do here? 60 bullets in a dream.
A nade over towards Romeo. The blue zone's going to force him over the edge. He drops down, and down he goes. It is Goat Team going God mode.
They have to be happy with that game. I mean, the way that they're screaming at the end of it, they deserve this match more than anyone else. There was such slow gameplay from everyone else in the lobby. It felt like Goat was the only one carving their own legacy into this match. Couldn't couldn't ask for anything better. You really couldn't.
They climbed themselves up to the top of that mountain, and it was a tough road for them. Their positioning on the south side, as you were saying, they were the only playmakers in this circle. Their move to Ulf, their decision not to try and just stumble forwards, creep towards Danqing like everybody else. Instead, they stepped back, they looked at the bigger picture, and they took a big chicken dinner.
There was just so much willingness as well to just give Yangon Galacticos those locations. Playing a 2-2 split there, for the amount of time we're in that location, you deserve to be crashed upon on that 2-2 split. Holding those two buildings for as long as they did only happens because there is such passive gameplay around them in that location. Everyone is so afraid to get third-party right now, and again, that's survival stage, John. That's what happens. The pressure is on. Goat's feeling none of it, apparently.
Well, yeah, they were just unleashed there. They were allowed to graze on any pasture they liked. There was just nothing stopping them. And you're right. I mean, it was particularly RRQ and Alpha 7 on that northeast side around the Yangon Galacticos position that just really didn't push into it, didn't go for those targets until the Blue Zone forced them to do something that was completely unfavorable to their longer-term point-scoring prospects.
It's very tentative gameplay right now from Alpha 7, and it's almost annoying for me because the beginning of that game, my God.
Oh, yeah.
I saw glimmers of the past. I saw the demon that used to be there before the mask descended. I want more of that. Alpha 7 looked genuinely insane at the start, but let's hear more from Kalaris and what he thinks about Alpha 7.
Thank you very much, boys. Yes, once again here for the 100th time I am with Revo, as always. Let's talk about that game, actually. Of course, Go Team did get the win, but you guys were incredibly resilient in this game. You actually, from the word go, E-Arena hunted down Carrillo and then was able to take him down. Of course, then you were able to save Gizao to be able to get the res off here. But what's going through the team's mind in that point? Because that's a scary prospect when you're in a hot drop in Yulin.
Yeah, I think we know that can happen. Like, it can happen with everyone. So we always have a plan B to do anything when that thing happens. So we was ready to that, and we did a great match.
Yeah, you guys have already told me, you told me especially, that you're really good under pressure, and that kind of really exemplifies it. And speaking of that pressure to continue on in the game, once again in the late game, you guys go down to one player and able to get the recovery back up to 3 to continue things on to eventually, I think you had like 9 elims in this game as a whole or something like that. So when you go down to the 1 again and then are able to recover to the 3, what's going through the team's head in that moment?
I think like that means to be a Brazilian because we never give up. So we was trying to keep everyone alive. Of course, we lost 1, but we are trying to stay like safe in that house, and we did it. Like, and in my mind, it was not passing nothing. I was like, it's okay. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it anyway. So yeah, was that.
Feeling good for a top 6 today?
Feeling good. I know God gonna give it us. If you qualify, gonna be by God. So I trust Him, and let's see what's gonna happen.
Message for the fans.
Tamo junto, hein?
That's Revo.
Human body was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you. Gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Hi, I'm here with Fire Ray.
I think they had a fantastic start. I think they had the best start to that last game than anyone else. And I've said it before, it's very promising right now. So we'll see what more they can get done. The Furia, on the other hand, another team that I did want to talk about. I think they went down fairly early that last match. They got stuck in towards Danqing, tough position to play, slowly bled out players. I have no doubt in my mind, though, the Fury is not going to pop off later today at some point. I think the Furies should be in that top 6. I think they belong in that top 6. From PMMI to now, they are looking for a big win at a major stage in the year. But we're heading into game 2 now with Erangel flying over from the top side of the map down towards Nova Evnoya.
A nice even plane path here, Blank. Nothing too dramatic. Our circles have been pretty cruel, though. I think it's safe to say we were maybe a little bit of we would give it a little bit of rest from it in that last rondo. Not super favorable for the teams on the south, but it felt reasonable. We have had some much worse circles moving forwards. E-Arena out fairly early, near Alpha 7 there. E-Arena employing interesting strategy at the start of that last rondo, right? Really going on the hunt, like targeting those recall towers and finding those solos in a way that I don't think we've seen so much. It's definitely something that teams have thought about doing. It's some things that we have seen happen, but it felt very much like a very specific game plan for E-Arena to be able to go for those hunt downs. And it was, I believe, it was Ulf and Alpha 7 who lost their solos.
It's been happening actually a lot more recently. There's been more and more times where we'll try and catch out 1 or 2 teams who are just carelessly throwing over towards the same spot every single time. That team will just wander in, get themselves free elimination, and practically ruin the hopes of another team, or at least make their rotations out very difficult, like it was for the case on Ulf. So yeah, I do think that that is happening more. It's just the first time we've really seen a team go after multiple squads at the same time. QZZ currently at 4,470 damage done. Milu close behind 3,900. But the drop-off between QZZ and Killer Joe in 3rd place, kind of wild, because 3,500 damage is pretty good, honestly. But QZZ has just been on another world entirely over the course of these 2 days. Circle very kind right now over towards Boatyard Ruins. GK getting a nice start over towards Pachinki at the moment. Wolves scattered across Gatka Fields. And you could be scattering Jutsu all over the place with the new Naruto skin set, as well as the Ninetales Fury Org. Make sure to draw that in-game, because goodness me, that's a gorgeous skin. One of the best ones, actually, I've seen in quite a while. And you can also have a little tiny Kurama if you wanted, right? You know, you get that Ninetales Fox. He's got loads of emotes. It's fun. It's good stuff.
It is very cute as well. It was one of the things I was very envious of. Have to try and pursue that one. Get your spins in, get on to the game. See if you can pick those up. RRQ on the south side near that quarry area. No early engagements. We're not seeing a hot drop in Pachinki anymore. It's just GK on the inside there. Now that was settled. That was drawn to a close.
And that's what they're all playing for right there. We just saw on our screens the beautiful trophy here at the PMWC at EWC. And also get a nice little flyby of our wonderful stage. Banked on both sides by fans from around the world, which is great to see, honestly. It's really, really cool to have everyone here supporting the teams. The atmosphere has been fairly electric, and I might add quite loud.
Oh yeah.
But I am happy, you know, there is some rambunctious support for the squads.
Absolutely. The drums of war beating heavy on the ears of our players. Well, hopefully not, actually. They have ear protection on, so they should be fine. And they will show their support efficaciously. Goat team, moving over towards what? Yeah, it's true. It's very effective.
Who likes searching the dictionary for that one?
Efficaciously.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good. I think I came up with
I saw you pull out the dictionary and start flicking through there.
Hey, you know, sometimes I just got to riffle through it.
Rifle.
And what I find would be eleemosynary.
Oh, okay, wonderful. No clue what that means.
Neither. I'm pretty sure it means like something.
You've just. All right, fair enough. You skipped a single page and just gone for it.
Just because you read the dictionary doesn't mean you know the definition.
I would hope you did. You're like the picture book of dictionaries. You just look at the words.
Yeah.
Don't want to look at the definitions.
Absolutely, yeah. A is for Alpha 7.
That's true. B is for Brazil.
B is for Brazil. C is for Carrillo. I don't have it. I'm out. I'll tap it out of that one. Furia. Ooh, stop, drop, and roll down the hill. But they do get back to their tires and will be on the road again to come in from that eastern side. Jumba from the northeast from Yasnaya, making their way into teams looking to leave Pachinki, or well, crowd in around the edges of Pachinki in this spot. But still, far afield from one another. These teams are still a little bit in that looting phase.
Yeah, it's a calm game. It's always weird coming from Rondo because it's from minute one you're bombarded by elimination after elimination. Plenty of ridiculous infighting towards some of these POIs on the map. But for Erangel, this is a pretty reasonable circle. Honestly, I don't think there's nothing too crazy about this whatsoever.
I feel like the first fight that might pop off is actually Alula on their crossing from the north side. Depending on where they go.
Alpha 7's arch nemesis.
Yeah, Alpha 7 are kind of in the way. But Alula could just go further east and try and push in on that side of things. And Alpha 7 are a little bit split right now, so it is kind of dangerous if Alula go for a full crash on towards one of the positions on the north with Obscure, with Revo, both kind of isolated from one another.
Well, for Alpha 7 right now, I can see what they're trying to do, right? You're trying to maintain control of box, also have some control over the compounds that sit underneath Everest. You're basically guaranteeing as much in towards the next circle as possible. All those locations are good, and there is support that you can make from across the river. And Guizhou went for a slight push-up over towards that north side as soon as Obscure was sending back that information that potentially was a team roaming on the northern edge, but he's going to back down towards the south side of Everest. Everyone's quite well situated though. School currently taken by Tiamba. They shifted over from that eastern side. Alula crosses over the water to the banks of Rozok. But pretty much this one comes down to zone 2. There's plenty of space for absolutely everyone here, so we can probably talk about some of our teams. Currently in this one, Yangon Galacticos getting a very free and easy rotate from that south side, but AGAL wasn't a horrendous game last time around, but they did fall over at some point. I think I'd like to see a step up from this squad, probably towards the first portion of the day, right? First 3 matches, I'd like to see something good out of this squad, and that would indicate they could potentially be in that top 6.
I think so. I mean, certainly coming into the survival stage, if you had to pick AGAL or Tiamba to be in the first place position of this lobby, this is not the reality that you would have selected, given the performances that we saw back in those group stages. For AGAL, they have fallen off, but not far enough to be outside of that opportunity zone. With GOAT Team in second place on 57 points, that's 17 points ahead of AGAL in 12th, which means that they have a massive opportunity to be able to push on through, to change the story here. As for almost all of our teams, in fact, as the circle crunches in, again, fairly chilled out circle, keeps that northern side a little bit in, but again, you're just gonna have to look to move forwards. And Alula split themselves 2 and 2 to try and find the best way across. I imagine that they've spotted Alpha 7 on that location. With Alpha 7 looking to regroup, Alula will be able to get through. It's interesting. It would be interesting to see if they try and go 2 and 2 and actually cross into different locations, because at that point, they're committing to being completely split until they can regroup in maybe zone 7.
It's really hard, okay? It's really, really hard to play across Boatyard, wrap through the rolling hills on the south side of Boatyard, and back to one another, which is why you're actually seeing them re-rotate to regroup over towards the western edge, alongside the rest of the team that's south of box. AGAL getting blasted right now as they push over towards Ruins. This was a very desperate rotate. They're mildly successful, honestly, off the back of it. They get into position, they play the bunkers, they play the sandbags.
Okay.
Not horrendous. Actually not horrendous. Flower H's vehicle is on its last legs, though.
They do have a blowtorch, so they can actually repair that one up. I think that's what you can hear in the background there. You've got your headphones in. making sure that they are nice and healthy. Yeah, I feel like mild, maybe even up to medium successful on this push.
Medium success.
Maybe
you're right.
Bit of piri-piri on that one.
Piri-piri, yeah, exactly. It's spicy rotation. Could have been bad. I think a lot of people and teams were trying to figure out where they wanted to go. But AJL had a very clear decision in mind. A lot of teams don't push towards ruins too early either because they don't want to be on that slope. You would rather have the information and the vision down towards that south side. So I think AJL plays into that quite quickly and is like, okay, maybe we can get sandbags off the back of this one. I don't imagine anyone's pushed in there too early. Boatyard team potentially might have gone for that one. But Dopeness is on a weird 2-2 split over on the western side of Boatyard and then down towards the south by the roads. So they are likely not going to be able to regroup anytime soon.
I think it's a 3-1 coming on through. To me, that stinks of not moving quickly enough and responding to the circle because you know what the other teams around you
Kenji is done
are going to be going for, right? He's on foot getting down there. Or is he? Maybe he's in a buggy. Not entirely sure. No, he is, just on his belly. Trying to survive, trying to not make any sound. As soon as Alula read that he's here, he's gone. He's out.
Yeah, they did didn't hear him. He leapt off at just the right time. Sneaky beaky down towards the bottom here. I think maybe that was his vehicle.
Maybe.
You saw it there. It is hidden. It is hidden away. And we are heading over towards ruins. In fact, a lot of teams will have to figure this one out. AJL, medium success to massive success, honestly.
Yeah.
Really well done.
With that circle, they have got themselves a really nice slice of it. Alpha 7's compound as well is pretty huge, overlooking so much the fields to the south. They've got a lot of pressure to the east. E-Arena may look to try and crash down upon them, but I don't think there's an impetus to do that within the next maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes potentially. Goat team in with a scrap on the south side as they're trying to leave past Gatka open across those fields, but the Wolves are dragging them down into a fight.
Wolves actually in the top 6 right now. Kind of interesting. They've been able to get some points on board, but Elementrix will fall now. Baton moved over towards that northern edge. They were split on the team quite fully along with one another. Slonic just about able to get off into the distance, but before he does get knocked down, I think for Wolves right now, there's a bit of a awkward push out. And they weren't really thinking that, oh my God, there's going to be a lot of teams coming from that south side. And we're quickly shut down because of it. Ulf tries to go center. Ulf is not a team we expected to be in 13th here. I think this is a very big surprise for everyone. Currently only on 2 players. And we're probably thinking that for the guys on Ulf, this is a hard achievement to make happen in the last 4 matches, because I don't think they're getting many points off the back of this game. They would have to shoot up the rankings if they want to make it to the top 6, and Ulf getting sent home today would be a massive deal.
Definitely. I mean, it is a team that has had some ups and downs, I think it's safe to say, over the course of these group stages. Not quite able to make it all the way into the top 5. They were definitely in with a chance here. The lobby is close enough in terms of these overall scores right now, Blank, that they can still make it. It does require them to be pushing pretty hard and fast, though. For Ulf, it's likely they're going to need to see at least 5 points off this match to keep themselves in the running, moving into the latter half of the day. And to be fair, from their position on the north edge, that may well be doable as a duo. If Al-Ula don't commit to pushing out onto that angle, there's really not too many other teams that are going to threaten them. So it's a survival strategy for Ulf, and it may go quite well. They did send all the way from the southeast straight through the middle to get to this spot. That's why they've managed to shed all the players that they had. But yeah, it's a tough game for them. They do need to make the most of it.
Yeah, which is why it is a massive success for AJL on that rotate, because they stopped early enough. They didn't lose too many players. They brought things to repair the rotational devices with, aka cars, which is great. Great news for them. And they should have some success into the future too. We do move over towards that western side. Alpha 7 thrown a bone here, but I would argue that they set themselves up nicely in that early game. I'm hoping this trend continues. Honestly, I think Alpha 7 looks good today. They do look good today.
Yeah, with that pressure on the northern shore to divert Alula away, remove a lot of that. That's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
With their ability to hold that 2-2 split. I liked they did regroup on the northern side, so they weren't solos.
They were very quick to reassess the scenario as well and get back down towards this location. I genuinely believe that, although, yeah, sure, the rest of the team's very, very good, Guizhou has been this driving factor for the team today. He's been making a lot of calls, a lot of decisions on the fly, and I think it's been helpful. I think it has been helpful. It's just strange that one of the newer players of the squad is the one to sort of drag the team along with him. Furia making a similarly wild rotate in. Yangon Galacticos looking to punish, and Chief is down, and oh yeah.
That is nasty stuff coming through. One player now left for Furia. Coach not looking too happy. Gonna have words with them after this one, I'm sure. Trying to figure out the best path forwards. GK, they were put through the ringer in that last match, but it looks like they're going to survive on their compound as well, as RRQ go down to them. Too much damage for them to bear, and Ragnarok back to his feet. The res comes on in. Tianba in the meantime getting torn apart by AGAL. There is an answer a little bit, but the nades over the top just slowed things down, and they only have Milu left standing, and it needs another. Let's go for another 1v4. Why not?
Great nade from Maple, honestly. Very well done here. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to post these nades over inside of sandbags because there is a lot of terrain that stops you from fully committing those nades inwards. Maybe getting a little bit over-aggressive here, forgetting that Castle is in play. Nade over the top, tries to finish out QZZ, does go far enough. Well done. Really good hold here from AGAL, leaving, like you say, Milu, the 1v4 master, alive at the end here.
For Tianba, another fairly low-scoring game, potentially on the cards here, with only the single Elim found. We said before, it's probably still fairly safe for them right now, but they do need to pick up a couple points here and there, Blank.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate in this spot. Losing 3 of their players like that is not how you want to start. Dopeness on the south side against Nongshim Red Force. Nongshim Red Force playing with only 2 players in action, and Dopeness similarly losing one of their players as well. As they left Kenji in the shadow of Alula. We saw him dropping down earlier on.
GK holding. Next circle is closing now. We have a lot of Everest over towards that western side. The arena's trying to bank as much information as possible at the moment. Store that away. Filing cabinets, pull out the secret files for later, where these teams will be playing, how they want to approach an endgame. They have been very quiet so far, very spy-like.
Wolf now being descended upon. The duo that moved out there earlier, able to do a little bit there, but Scarface does get flushed. Aaron's not too long to follow. A victim of the MG3 on the northern side, and Ulf will go down, so not what they were looking for here to keep themselves in the running. They'll need something bigger in the next few, and very, very quickly. As we turn our attention towards the teams now left in the circle. GK, they've been holding their nerve. They're up to 5 Elims on this match now, Blank. They're doing well on the south side. They've rebuffed pushes there. They have the buildings to play around. Goat team on 6 Elims as well, looking to come off the back of a strong rondo in towards Erangel with some force.
Well, they have force with them, so don't worry. He is on the team. We're good to go. But they're going to have to move it towards that northeast side. I think it's a slightly interesting push they'll have to make, and if they want to wrap down towards the south here and play in slow, definitely doable. Alpha 7, they pulled off from that northern portion of the compound and fully situated themselves down towards the south here, understanding the teams are likely wrapped through fields, were in the compound down towards the southwest, which they are right, and that is Goat Team. So they're fully focusing a lot of their attention over towards Everest and their southwest. This is a good approach to the game from them. GK doing something very similar, looking to hold out the teams that are on the southern edge. You've just got Milu remaining down there.
Ooh. Alpha 7's position gets so much stronger when E-Arena leave the top of Everest. For Goat Team, that is good news for the time being, but as soon as E-Arena move, their rooftops become so dangerous against Goat Team. They're going to have to a real think about how they want to go for this one. And I feel like E-Arena is starting to peel off those angles.
Yeah, start to look over towards Alula again. They have had that information for quite some time now. Noxian Red Force, Hyunbin opens up over towards Killer Joe. That's a backstab coming through here and will slow the guys from Go down. Revo actually looking to swing by in the vehicle, get some information, but Noxian Red Force definitely the main force that is distracting away from Goat. And Goat turns their eye towards them. You could see them just about start to shimmy back down towards that southeast side, realizing they got to get rid of this team.
Hyunbin causing problems there. Noxian Red Force again, they're on 2 players alive. They're out of this current zone blank. They have to step forwards. So finding these little openings is exactly what they needed. Diminishing the power of Goat team across the way. You love to see it. You love to see it. Hyunbin with another nade over the top. They're not quite connecting either way. Fuchsman starts to get closer with that buggy. Gets the scouting done. Hyunbin putting damage down range, but does have to duck back as he gets clocked himself. He's very, very low there. And in the meantime, TZ is fending off against Geeko, who want a third party. Hyunbin falls.
Yeah, Hyunbin going down here. Good nades coming through from Goat team, but in comes the shots from the sidelines here, and it is Revo finding Moxie. This is good. Very, very well done. You have to capitalize on that, and this was the plan from the very start, John, for Alpha 7. Looking better and better as the day goes on here. Kiwoom DRX technically have center circle on this one, but they have been so lackluster throughout the tournament. It's hard to call them doing much going forward. They'll have to change our minds essentially as the day goes on. E-Arena did now finally pull fully off of Everest here. They still have Mormon on the low ground. Milu 1v4 time, question mark.
Is he going to do it again? There's 2 players down. Oh, that one felt like it might have connected as well. Milu with a chance here to go big again. The 2 players from Geeke not getting back on up, and he has got them on the run. They're trying to step into position to go for this res, but steps out, looks for it, darts into the building now. The res did not get stuck, and he's got another. He's just got 8 rounds left, though. The DBS out of ammo, and there is no more left in the tank.
He ruins the day of Geeke, though. That's nuts. That is nuts. I mean, Milu is just disgusting. Oh my goodness me. Goat team up to 8 eliminations on this game, despite everything still putting up those points. Alpha 7 wrapped underneath. Tried to catch him off guard there. Fuchsman did send over towards that southeast side, looking to hold out Tizzy from Noxian Red Force. Kiwoom DRX also taking shots over. And Force will be knocked, leaving just Fuchsman remaining. We'll see if Alpha 7 is able to pick up that point, and they do.
Oh, he steps out into it. TZ holds his nerve, gets across, and now looks to heal. There's a lot of crates on this location, remember, because Milu was doing some dastardly deeds out in the open, so potential to find a lot of loot here, but I don't know if TZ is going to stop. In the meantime, AGAL, good shot. 721 GS looking to take the fight. AGAL with their maximum successful rotate earlier on. Looking to try and convert now into transition into this circle. Alpha 7. Oh, they've just lost a player on that northern side. Revel went out too close to E-Arena and does get clipped.
I mean, it has to be the scout, though. I think that's fair. The fact they were trying to gather information, now the rest of the team knows that there's players on this north side. So annoying for AGAL, by the way, because Alula not for a second tried to check Kenji. So no one's known he's here for so long. He backstabs over towards AGAL, starts to move out, and he is completely scuppered their game plan.
Changing the tempo on the lobby as E-Arena look to try and isolate this northern side as well.
Everyone.
He's just going for it. Okay, Kenji, a demon on the descent there, leaving 1 player back. We thought it might have been a misplay, but Blank, I think I still believe that. But he goes down, but a really solid performance from that angle. But Dopeness, 4 elims into a 6th place. I think that's more than they could have hoped for in that spot.
Another late entry for AJL, though, today. Getting further and further into these games. It's nice to see their name popping up towards these endpoints. Alula forced to move down, and AJL looking to bolster this position. They flow up. Carrillo Looking over towards KRX, XCZ opens up over towards Claws, but it's Yasser over towards Flower H to get him down. This is going back and forth, but Maple comes through with the shotgun and will finish them off in fantastic fashion. They've got to get quickly with those players back up on their feet. But E-Arena from the western side, they've got the license to a limb right now. The spies coming through from on top of Everest, telescopes and binoculars put away, and they're looking to get the big elims on.
He wound DRX as well into the fight. XCZ with a chance to shut it all down, though. Their chance to jump up the tables to get themselves off of the back foot here, but they are now on one player alive. He's burning, and now the DBS is going to try and shut him down from up on high. Tags one, but can't get the second done. Where did he go down from? Was that E-Arena? Schweppes moves on out, as do the rest of them. What a flex across.
Alpha 7 now up against E-Arena. Good flex coming through from them, like you say. Goodness me, felt bad for him on that last DBS shot. Took him so incredibly low. Would have been a great clutch up for AJL, but still a strong game for them at 15 points total. Two final teams. E-Arena, who came blasting out in their group with a huge game, versus Alpha 7, who are slowly but surely regaining confidence in these matches.
Losing Revo earlier may be a difference maker here, though, Blank. For Alpha 7, they need all the sightlines they can get, and E-Arena have been able to change the pace. Play slow and immediately turn it on when it mattered. Rolling around on the hillsides, they're trying to get that information, but Mormon with that MG3, a major threat on the angle. Obscure and Guizao pulling up and maybe looking to go trade for trade with the nades. Obscure dodges that one, launches one in response, and Mormon steps out of the way. MG3 to rattle Obscure straight on down on the hillside. Schweppes steps in, a Joker is the trade. Now two players have the broadside on Tony K, but he manages to turn around the headland and stay alive. A 2v3 now.
Tony K backing off, comes back around the angle. Moment over the top side, he's flying through the air, might get out of the vehicle, but his eye on fire. Guizao goes down to a rundown as he gets out the car, leaving just Carrillo in a 1v3. A hard game from them. A chicken dinner would be great, but this feels like an impossible task. Moves off the angle, 5 grenades. They have to be absolutely exemplary. Cannot get the shots underneath the vehicle over towards Tony K. Likely going to be going for a first aid kit. Swings one far, looking for the bounce. Might hit good, doesn't quite grab him though, constantly repositioning.
Another Molotov on the vehicle forces him away from it. Has to step into the firing line. And E-Arena, from atop the Everest position, able to descend, control the northern side, and squeeze the life out of the lobby.
I mean, they pulled up those files. None of them were classified. They had locked in info on every single team. And they took the silencer out and certainly silenced a lot of these squads in the lobby. The boys in Alpha 7, though, another good game.
Hey, why do I know that my time coming up? Out of my mind, my time ain't enough. Stayed on my grind many times, I was stuck. Had to wax the rail with betray out like I'm young, cause I am in the cities I got. Little more to give y'all than the people I'm not. Step foot in the game, y'all last change. Hate them all cause I'm up and I don't even fly that. But I'm here, I see rappers lying in dark clothes, high things. I know they hiding, but what you hiding from? You trying to run, you know I'm about to grill your ass. Hey, look, know it's my time, you was on that rise, you was on my time when I'm riding the beat. But it be like time, like you do it with they minds. I'm sick and tired of the lies that you preach. Only up I come, I'ma leave y'all down. I can show y'all how like the birds and the bees. Everybody try to stunt, let them know the focus up. I know everybody's stuck to a certain degree. They all hide, that ain't something I am with. Always keep it 10 toes, and if I choke up, I am licking motions. Throw me to this paper. Hey, I see you later, shouldn't waste time with you goofies. But ooh, I fucking hate you. What you hiding from? You trying to run, you know I'm about to grill your ass. Hey, boy, you tripping like a blind man. You can't see. How you think you can fly past my wide wings? Try to wriggle down with you, that's fine by me. Only drip you ever had.